The Client Journey, The Path to Delightment with Matt Spiegel, episode 193. Are you ready to make your law firm a profit-generating machine that will free up your time and skyrocket your impact? With more than 2 decades of business growth experience and having proven that you can be successful while prioritizing your family and your impact, introducing the Profit with Law podcast. I am your host, the creator of the firm differentiator 10x effect, Moshe Amsel. Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Profit with Law podcast. I'm your host, Moshe Amsel, and I'm going to keep this intro really brief. We are going to bring to you a replay of one of the main stage sessions from our recent Law Firm Growth Summit that took place in February of 2021. Our session that we're bringing to you is by Matt Spiegel of Lawmatics, one of our sponsors, and Matt is just an amazing individual, and he really brought amazing content for our audience. We got a ton of feedback from this session, and I wanted to share it with my avid podcast listeners. So we're going to go over to that session in just a moment. Stand by. Here is a word from our sponsors. Let me share an exciting tool that I recently came across that is a game changer for law firms that bill hourly or by the project, otherwise known as flat fee billing. The 2020 Legal Trends Report published by Clio rates how important various items are in a client choosing your firm. You may be surprised to know that the third most important decision factor for someone choosing a lawyer is the ability to pay with a payment plan. The challenge that law firm owners face is the risk of a client not making good on that payment plan. Most attorneys don't offer payment plans because of that. The problem is now solved with LawFunder. LawFunder allows you to easily add a payment option to all your client invoices and retainer replenishment requests that does not require credit checks, applications, or any other complex process. The client's able to use their existing credit cards, allowing them to earn points and miles, access credit card specials on interest rates, and any other tools they use to manage their cash. When I saw this tool, I was blown away. Most importantly, it removes all the risk from the law firm and makes an easy and painless process to the payment process. So if you want to check off the box on one of the top factors in new client decisions, if you want to decrease your accounts receivable and get paid immediately, LawFunder is the solution. Go to lawfunder.com. That's lawfundar.com/profitwithlaw to learn more. No buzzwords, no jargon, no BS, just results to make your law firm grow. That's Legalese Marketing. Legalese Marketing is a full-service marketing agency for lawyers by legal experts and digital advertising specialists. Their goal? To help your firm stand out in a competitive marketplace with personalized solutions to help your law firm attract the clients you want, backed by the systems to make it all work correctly. Visit profitwithlaw.com/legalese to learn more. This podcast episode is sponsored by Noda, powered by M&T Bank. You went to law school to be a lawyer, not an accountant. Take advantage of Noda, a no-cost IOLTA management tool that helps solo and small law firms track client funds down to the penny. Enjoy peace of mind with one-click reconciliation, automated transaction alerts, and real-time bank data. Visit trustnoda.com to learn more. Terms and conditions may apply.
Hey everyone, I am Matt Spiegel, and thank you, Moshe, for putting on such an incredible event that we are honored to be a part of. I'm very actually disappointed that we didn't participate in it last year, but really looking forward to being an active participant in it this year and hopefully for many years to come. Had the pleasure of listening to a lot of the content so far over the last day and a half. It's been awesome and eye-opening, and even I love watching some of these sessions and learning myself. And I've done that over the last day and a half. It's been really awesome, and I appreciate the warm introduction. So to give you guys a little bit of background on myself, which is actually quite relevant, I think, to the discussion that I want to have with you today. And the title of my talk and my presentation is the idea of the path to delightment. And it's really the concept, and I think you've heard this permeate through some of the discussions that others have had with you all over the last day and a half about thinking about your firm as not a firm and a business, right? And this is an approach to that, and a thinking about things more in terms of customer service, right? Which is kind of a lost art when it comes to law firms. At least it has been for the past decade plus. But really starting to just think about basic customer service things and the journey that your clients go on with your law firm. And we'll get more into that. I'll talk more about what I mean and then also how I think tech can really be a useful tool in creating that journey and delighting your clients every step of the way. And I use that word delight pretty pointedly because delight is kind of a term in the software world, if you will. We always talk about delighting our customers. When you talk about SaaS companies, software as a service companies, other internet companies, you're always hearing this term delight being used throughout the customer success departments. And it's for that reason that I like to introduce it to law firms, right? Which I think can actually learn a lot and take a lot of cues from tech firms of the world. So a little bit on my background is I am a lawyer. I'm a lawyer just like almost everybody else here. I don't practice anymore, obviously, but I do still maintain my license. And I did practice criminal defense for about 6 years before I started My Case. So My Case is a company that I founded based purely out of my own experience with my law firm after founding it in 2009, having some problems with clients that I brought over in communication and wanting a better way to communicate. And that's effectively how My Case was founded. My Case turned into what it is today, and I left that company in 2015. But then I saw this problem in the space, a problem that hadn't been solved around running your law firm like a business and the front end of your law firm. Tons of practice management systems out there, but something more to help you with the sales and the intake side of your business, and also the marketing automation, really bringing you tools that software companies have lived by, metrics that software companies have measured for years and years and years, right? Just proven methodologies to business that so many companies have relied on for more than a decade, but law firms haven't had access to it. And that's what happened when we developed Lawmatics. But what was really interesting was making the jump from being a practicing lawyer with a law firm to running tech companies. And the biggest jump was that shift in priority, right? That shift in, when I was a lawyer, I felt like, God, just being a good lawyer was my priority. I needed to win the case for them, right? I needed to get them a great outcome. In my case, I needed to keep them out of jail, or I needed to limit the amount of community service, or whatever it was that was a potential sentence for them. I needed to limit that. But it was not as much about the experience that my client was having. I just assumed that if they got a good outcome, it would be a good experience, right? It couldn't be further from the truth. And so when I got in, when I started doing tech companies, I noticed almost immediately that, gosh, it's not as much about the product as it is about the customer service. And it is about the experience that a client goes through from the moment they first contact your company all the way through the entire life cycle, throughout their history of being a customer, and even after they're a customer, right? Very important. And so again, I think my background has kind of helped shape and frame the way that I think about this idea of the client journey and how to delight your customers along the way. So, and going back to my slides here, we are, lawyers are lawyers, right? Not CEOs. And that is, that's what we were taught, right? We were taught in school how to be a lawyer, but not how to run a business, right? So we tend to be focused on practicing law, and that's okay, right? We do have to be a good lawyer, right? And I will actually make an argument later on that you could actually be not a great lawyer and deliver an incredible customer experience and be wildly successful. So I would, we think about how you spend most of your time at your firm, right? Most of your time is spent working on matters, working on cases, right? Doing those things that are related to your client's perceived success, right? A good outcome for them. And that's okay. That's what we were taught. That's what we're supposed to do. Law school is not business, is not an MBA. It's not business school. You're not learning how to be CEO. And we know that. And so it's okay. But we can very easily change our frame with the way we see our firm. And that's really what I'm going to try to give you some thoughts today. What I leave you with today is just the idea of just maybe starting to think about it a little differently, right? I might give you, maybe there's a few action items around tech that can help you, but really what I want you to do is just start thinking about, things from your client's perspective and think about how you would want to be treated, right? And the experience you would want to have with any business. So running a business is hard, right? We just talked about that. There are so many things that go into running your law firm. Again, when I started my own law firm, I thought, all right, cool. So I've got a whole bunch of criminal defense cases. I got a whole lot of DUIs, and I got a whole lot of, drunken publics and some assault cases, and then some pretty serious cases, much smaller percentage, but they're there. And so I just got to go, do everything that I need to do in order to be a really good lawyer and get them great outcomes. And the money's just going to pour in, right? Not at all the case. Right. And anybody who started their own firm knows that that's just not the case. Right. You've got so many different things to worry about when you are starting a law firm. Right. You've got to worry about getting new clients. I mean, that's obviously, I think when anybody starts a new law firm, you're probably worried about how you're going to get those clients in the door. Maybe you have a book of business that is coming with you. Maybe you're going to be that's going to be your primary focus, is how do you drive that top line? How do you get people in the top of your funnel? But then there are so many more things to worry about past that. You have to worry about you do have to worry about the success of being a lawyer, right? So while I'm going to talk a lot about things outside of practicing law, you still do need to think about that. You don't want to, get in trouble for malpractice, right? That would be the worst thing to happen. So you do need to still keep up being a lawyer. And so while you're also trying to run a business, you're also trying to maintain yourself as a really, knowledgeable, intelligent, and strategic lawyer. You got to maintain an office, right? So you also have this physical structure that you need to keep up. You need to worry about internet and electricity and all these things that may seem trivial, but they're not. You've got to keep growing. You've got to worry about all the scheduling, right? You've got to schedule court dates. You've got to schedule calendar meetings. You got to do all this stuff. And then you want to go out there and market, right? You want to do more things to drive that top line. There's just so many things that are really critical to running a business that are sometimes unanticipated, right? Things that you don't necessarily know going in are going to be an issue. We all have those in every business. We go and start. We have things that come up that are unexpected, and it's just hard. And we're lawyers. It's hard for us to think about things like that all the time. But what I will tell you is, at the end of the day, this is the most important thing that you could think about in your firm, in my opinion, is happy clients is a happy practice and a successful practice. It's that simple. And to me, this is the easiest thing for any business out there. You have a happy client, you got a happy business, right? Happy clients do so many different things. And you notice here, I'm not talking necessarily about the outcome that a client got. I'm not necessarily talking about, if you go on Amazon and buy a product, that you're actually happy with that product, right? How many times have you guys bought something on Amazon and it wasn't the right thing? You actually didn't like the product, but you still had an amazing experience and you were happy with that experience, and you would buy from them again, even though they gave you the wrong product or something like that, right? That's because you had a great journey. That's because your experience, you were delighted at every step of the journey, right? And so it all boils down to this: happy clients equals a happy practice. Customer experience and customer success is the key to your business. Okay. Just again, remember all these customer interactions that you've had before with any type of company, right? Apple is another good example of customer service interaction. You might have had a defective product, you might have a lot of problems, but the service and experience you get leaves you happy. And so you're going to be a customer for life and you're going to come back.
Let me share an exciting tool that I recently came across that is a game changer for law firms that bill hourly or by the project, otherwise known as flat fee billing. The 2020 Legal Trends Report published by Clio rates how important various items are in a client choosing your firm. You may be surprised to know that the third most important decision factor for someone choosing a lawyer is the ability to pay with a payment plan. The challenge that law firm owners face is the risk of a client not making good on that payment plan. Most attorneys don't offer payment plans because of that. The problem is now solved with LawFunder. LawFunder allows you to easily add a payment option to all your client invoices and retainer replenishment requests that does not require credit checks, applications, or any other complex process. The client's able to use their existing credit cards, allowing them to earn points and miles, access credit card specials on interest rates, and any other tools they use to manage their cash. When I saw this tool, I was blown away. Most importantly, it removes all the risk from the law firm and makes an easy and painless process to the payment process. So if you want to check off the box on one of the top factors in new client decisions, if you want to decrease your accounts receivable and get paid immediately, LawFunder is the solution. Go to lawfunder.com. That's lawfundar.com/profitwithlaw to learn more. No buzzwords, no jargon, no BS, just results to make your law firm grow. That's Legalese Marketing. Legalese Marketing is a full-service marketing agency for lawyers by legal experts and digital advertising specialists. Their goal? To help your firm stand out in a competitive marketplace with personalized solutions to help your law firm attract the clients you want, backed by the systems to make it all work correctly. Visit profitwithlaw.com/legalese to learn more. This podcast episode is sponsored by Noda, powered by M&T Bank. You went to law school to be a lawyer, not an accountant. Take advantage of Noda, a no-cost IOLTA management tool that helps solo and small law firms track client funds down to the penny. Enjoy peace of mind with one-click reconciliation, automated transaction alerts, and real-time bank data. Visit trustnoda.com to learn more. Terms and conditions may apply.
So the client journey as it relates to a law firm, right? Each business has its own client journey, right? This is the concept of what journey does your specific customer go through, your client go through, right? Lawyers are focusing too much on the legal work, thinking that, as I mentioned before, thinking that the good outcome is all that matters, and that's wrong. I've seen this before. You could be the best lawyer in the world and get incredible outcomes, but if your customer service sucks, clients will not come back to you and they won't refer business to you. Okay. So again, think about the whole experience, not just maybe customer when you have a problem, but just think about all the experiences that you have with companies like Amazon or Apple, or any other, I like to think Lawmatics, right? You have a great experience with Lawmatics, but in my case, I know we used to have incredible feedback from customers on the experience that they had with my case. It's not about the product always, it's about the experience that you receive. And again, that's what the client journey is about. It's about sort of, knowing the path that your client goes through, the different turns that they take along that road, and understanding where your opportunities are. Each stage of this opportunity, each stage of your client journey is an opportunity to delight. Every single stage, there is something that you can do to wow your customers, to make them smile, to make them feel like you are on top of things, like you are to them, that you as the client are the only thing that matters to them, even though you have so many other things going on. Each stage is an opportunity to do that. And so as you build your journey, you have to remember that it's not just about having a journey, right? It's not just about being like, okay, there's a process that my clients go through. And here's the thing, all of you have a journey right now. You may not You may not have even thought about it as a journey. You may not think about it that way. You may not really understand all the different stages, but it's naturally evolved to happen, right? Your firm has it. Your clients of your firm have a journey that they go on from start to finish. So it's not just about having that journey. It's about understanding the journey and understanding what opportunities to delight the client at every step of the way that you have. You cannot understand where those opportunities are until you understand the journey itself, right? So let me break down the way, and this is something that we sort of accidentally stumbled upon in Lawmatics. I found myself very early on trying to explain what Lawmatics was, right? And I found myself breaking it down into this client journey. And I was breaking it down into 3 phases. And so this is kind of my starting point and where I think the basic client journey is for a law firm, right? I break it down into 3 phases. I think the law firm has a 3-phase client journey. Intake, right? Intake is from the moment that a lead comes in the door all the way up until they've signed the fee agreement and they now have an active matter, right? Phase 2 is active matter, right? They now have an active case. They have a scoped scope of services that you are working for them on. It's kind of got to start and it's got to finish, right? That's phase 2. And then you have phase 3. And phase 3, I will tell you, is the most neglected part of the journey for every law firm that I've ever interacted with, right? And that is former client. That is part of the journey, right? A client starts, they come into your law firm, they're going on a journey, they're going through the intake process, the sales process. Then they hire you, they're on their journey, they're going through their matter, right? The journey of their case. And then for too many of you, the case is over, and that's it. You're done, right? That part, that 3rd phase, is the most important part of the journey, I think, to the health of your business and the success of you as a law firm, as a business, right? So we'll focus some attention on that. You have to delight at every step of this process. So let's assume that you have the same type of a similar looking journey as the one I laid out here: intake, active matter, former client, right? You've got to delight at every step of this process, right? And technology, as we sit here in kind of the tech realm of this discussion, of this conference, is kind of the best tool for that, but it's not the only tool. And technology is not the only thing available to you to help delight your customers. So let's just talk briefly about that intake phase, right? That phase 1, and the different things that you can do during this phase to delight your customer. I will tell you one thing that happened to me when I was starting my law firm that changed my approach from the very beginning. I read a book called The E-Myth, right? Which is this book about creating this repeatable process that every customer can go through, and they all get the same thing, they have the same experience. And I did that. And it was things like every customer that came in for a consultation got a little folder with my logo on it and my business card inside and the same papers in there. It was a repeatable process that we knew we could execute every single time. And that was a small piece of delight, right? Even though to us it was repetitive and seemed small, to a customer, it was a delightful experience. So that's something that I think is really important in getting them, getting this repetitive process through, especially during the sales phase. So one area is immediate engagement, and technology is really the leader in this regard, right? When that person comes to your website or when they call in, you want to engage with them immediately. You don't give them any reason to call the next lawyer on Google. They contacted you. Engage them with a text message, engage them with a phone call, engage them with an email, engage them with an intake form to fill out, right? Technology, automation tools are going to be able to help you with this, right? You're going to be able to engage them immediately. Most of you have probably seen the study done by Clio in their legal trends report. I think it was last year, where they talk about, how much business you lose if you don't respond to a lead in the first, minute or 2 minutes, right? You can't do that without technology. You have to have technology in order to help you with that. And you are missing out on a lot of business if you are not using technology to help you engage immediately. This is your opportunity for the first impression, right? And showing a potential client that rapid response, right? That is a delightful experience. They just filled out that form on your website, but they are already receiving an interaction from you and they're receiving, a link to book a demo sorry, not a demo, to book a consultation with your firm, they are already feeling delighted, right? And they are also thinking to themselves, man, this law firm is communicating with me so quickly and so effectively. I can't wait to see how they communicate with me during my case, right? Communication is still the biggest complaint at all state bar associations. So if you're showing them that you're going to have incredible communication, you're going to delight them and they're going to have a great experience. It's on from hello, right? So you have an opportunity to give excellent customer service from the very moment a PNC contacts your firm. And I want you to think about it exactly like that. Customer service. That's what it is. It's being nice to them on the phone. It's showing them that you want their business, right? It's not being, a lawyer on your high horse thinking, you need me more than I need you. And I'm a lawyer and I'm going to be able to get you out of trouble, or I'm going to be able to help you with your, with your case. No one else is going to be able to do what I can do. And, if you don't use me, it's your loss. It's a customer service. Think about these interactions. Think about when you call, Amazon, you need customer support about the best experience you've had. And that's the same way you want to treat your clients. And in this phase, maybe this phase more so than any other phase, automation is key. You have to automate these things. No human being can engage anybody rapidly enough without automation, right? You need automation in order to execute that and to stay competitive. So that's the intake phase. Again, there's so much more that I think you can do there to really delight, but it should start to help you think about ways in which you can really make people excited and feel, feel happy. You also have to remember, a lot of times this is the worst time of their lives. This is the worst thing that they're having to go through. So if you can make them smile, if you can delight them along that process, then you're going to be in really good shape. The next part of the process is phase two, the active matter, right? And look, this is where you have to remember that the outcome is only part of the experience. Okay, that is the most important thing that you need to take away from this section, right? From this phase two, is that it's not just about the legal work you deliver. It's about the experience that they get. It's about the communication, right? They are more than just a matter. They hired you to represent them zealously, but it's not only about that. Communication here is the easiest way to delight your customer, even more so than client intake. Communication during the active matter is most important. That's where the most complaints are, and that's where the opportunities to really delight are. It's the reason why I started my case, right? Most people don't notice, but my case before it was a practice management system was just a client portal. That's all it was. Then we built the practice management tools on top of that, right? So at its core, it was only a tool designed to help you communicate better with your clients. And the reason we did that was because we knew how important it was to the success, right? You could screw up their case. You could actually not deliver them the outcome they want. But if you communicated with them, if you over communicated with them and you gave them a great experience, they're going to come back, right? Because they know that not all cases are going to be won. They know that they're going to see that you fought as hard as possible for them. And they're going to be impressed with their communication and the experience that they got. Also, during the active matter, it's okay to market to those clients, right? It's okay to send them the newsletter from your firm that you're going to be sending out, right? You're going to use technology to deliver that. It's okay to do those things. So you shouldn't neglect them at this stage. It's an opportunity to kind of keep them informed with what's going on with your firm, bring them into your firm's community a little bit more, right? And then tech, look, I encourage people to use client portals. I like to say that we founded the client portal at my case. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't, but we definitely are the first ones to bring it into mainstream practice management. Now, most of the practice management systems have it. I encourage you to let your clients into your tech stack as much as you can. Use technology not only for you, but use it for them as well, right? Because that will delight them. They will be happy with that. So moving through, again, there's so many things that you can probably think about, ways to delight your customer during the active matter. I'm giving you just a few and trying to go pretty quick, and I apologize for that. But I'll be around all week in our booth too if anyone wants to come and chat about anything. So the third phase, I think the most important, and the most neglected is the former client phase. And it's the most important when it comes to building your business, right? It's not the most important to the success of your client's case because the case is over, but it's the most important to the success of your business. So about 75% of law firm business comes from referrals, right? It's a very rough number, but it's a fairly accurate number. What are you guys doing to get that, right? And everyone will have a different answer. Oh, I'm doing this to get referrals. I'm asking my clients to refer me, but really, all you need to do is give them a great experience and keep them happy, right? There's a lot of things that you can do with automation after the case is over to send like drip campaigns and emails and keep them engaged with your firm. And actually, in our panel after this, we'll probably discuss that. And then I have a breakout session later today where I will actually give you some blueprint on some automations to run for the former client phase, right? But this is really, really critical to delight them during this phase, right? They may have not gotten what they wanted in their case. Now is an opportunity to really continue to keep them happy, even though they didn't get exactly what they wanted. So looking at this former client phase and thinking, what are you doing to delight them? It's the single biggest missed opportunity, as we talked about, but I think it's engagement, right? It's just engagement after this. It's not forgetting about them. We encourage all of our customers at Lawmatics to build a year-long drip campaign after a case is over. That is a cadence of emails and contact points that go out over the course of 1 year after the case is over, checking in on them, seeing how they're doing, right? These things are so basic. And again, even if you screwed up their case, if you didn't get them what they wanted, you're communicating with them like that over the course of a year and checking in on them is going to turn them into repeat business. It's going to turn them into a believer and a promoter, to borrow something from Net Promoter Score. Milestones are a really big opportunity here, right? You can use technology to deliver automated emails, for example, on your former client's birthday every year. I ask almost every lawyer that I talk to, what are you doing for your former clients on their birthday? First of all, I say, what's your book of business? You've got hundreds or thousands of former clients, right? And they all say, yep. What are you doing for them on their birthday? They all say, nothing. I have plans. I want to do something, but I'm not doing anything. Well, in a good technology platform, spend 5 minutes and you'll now automatically send an email to every single former client on their birthday for as long as you have that automation turned on. It's super simple. But you can also do this for milestones. Things like the anniversary of a particular date in their matter, right? Like, things that are meaningful to them as a milestone, you can trigger emails or communications to be sent to them on those dates. Newsletters, right? These are also really critical. You may think that they're corny, you may think you don't need them, and honestly, a lot of times they are corny, right? And they are kind of unnecessary. But what they're doing is they're engaging that former client, they're thinking about you, and they're thinking about a good, like the experience of interacting with your firm, right? And that's important. I want you to remember this, especially once the case is over, right? It is a relationship, not a client, right? These clients are people, and there's someone that you can have a relationship with. Treat them that way, and they will absolutely pay dividends. So just to give you guys a little bit of the tech overview with the couple, minute or two left that I have here, I want to just kind of come back to this client journey concept and kind of show you guys like just some of the tools. I did not list all of them. I just threw this together pretty quickly. But looking at the different phases, right? Intake, active matter, and former client. Here are some of the tools. I threw Lawmatics in there. There are others, yes, that can help you with the intake and can help you with the former client. Not as many that can also help you with the former client, but there are definitely some. You might need to cobble together some systems, not necessarily all in one, but there are. But this is really more to give you guys a concept because these are companies that you guys know, so you understand where they fit in the process, right? So Lawmatics kind of really, and CRM, this idea of CRM and marketing automation sitting in phase 1 and phase 3. And phase 2 being your practice management tools, right? The Clios, the MyCases, the Practice Panthers, Filevine, Smoke Balls of the world. That's where they sit, right? So thinking about it, I believe that you can get your entire journey covered with 2 pieces of software, right? A really good, strong CRM and marketing automation tool with a practice management system. Inside of phase 2, there are lots of other little tools that can help you delight your customers. You can go find those. I'll leave that to you. Happy to answer any questions over the next couple of days about that. but plenty of ways to delight your customer and give them that amazing experience during their journey with you. So with that, I think I'm just about out of time here. I'm looking forward to jumping on the panel with some amazing colleagues and friends here next. So I'll be sticking around for a little bit, and I look forward to chatting hopefully with some of you. Come by our booth and ask me anything about anything, and I'm happy to have a conversation. So thank you to everyone, and I hope that you learned a little bit about how to make your client journey more delightful.
That's it for this week's episode of Profit with Law. If you have enjoyed the show, please consider sharing it with at least one person. Imagine how many lives we can change if we each shared this episode. Another way to share the episode is on social media. We appreciate your support and look forward to you joining us again next week.